Hi there, my name's John Bristow. I'm a developer evangelist with Microsoft, and in this video I'd like to spend a few minutes showing you IE9 pin sites, what they are and how they work. If you haven't already done so, you can go ahead and download IE9 from beautyoftheweb.com. In addition to finding the bits there, you'll also see a whole host of examples of what's possible, some amazing sites built from customers and partners using IE9 today. If you're more technically focused or a developer, you can also visit the test drive site at ietestdrive.com, where you'll be able to download and install IE9 as well as IE10 Platform Preview 1 available today. In addition, this site will showcase a whole host of demos related to performance, interoperability, and things that are unique to IE9 such as site pinning. As I said before, this video will concentrate on site pinning, and by way of example, I'd like to show you this site, which is called Rotten Tomatoes, a very popular site online that allows you to get information about movies found in the box office or on DVD. And this site has gone ahead and implemented site pinning within IE9. To show you how this works, you simply take a tab here and you pull it down to the taskbar on Windows. When you do this, you'll notice that the Chrome or the window around our browser experience changes. The back and forward button are themed accordingly to the fave icon found on the site. In addition to that, if you right-click on the pin site itself, you'll notice that we get this list of jump list items appearing for our site itself. This allows us to take sites and allow them to feel much more native to Windows itself. So here you can see I have some static list items here under this tasks category that gives me a shortcut into the site that I've pinned, as well as other sites as well if I so wish. And then I have above that a list of dynamic list items that have been added to the pin site itself. These are showing me what's hot on the site for Rotten Tomatoes currently today. Pin sites are really nice because they also surface up information in other ways. So for example, if I hover over the icon itself, you'll notice here at the bottom we have these icon overlays that appear in the thumbnail preview. These icon overlays allow me to tweet or add messages to my wall on Facebook for movies that I am currently viewing. So we have a number of ways of integrating within the pin site experience for IE9 today for developers, which is great. And this can be added to not only new but also existing sites. So by way of example, I have a site that I've created here. Let's go ahead and see how this works. So I'm using Web Matrix, by the way, for running this site. Free tool available off of Microsoft.com/web. The site that you see here is a very simple example, but if you go ahead and pin this site right now, you'll notice that the integrated jump list items are missing. And in fact, this is the default view found for sites that don't integrate jump lists. So it is a non-optimal experience. I would love to have this capability to add these list items very quickly and easily. Let's see how that's done. I'll go ahead and close this window and unpin this site because I'll be pinning it shortly. Let me jump over here to a little scratch pad I have here for some markup, and I'm going to add these three meta tags to the head section of my page. Meta tags are how we integrate jump list items from a static perspective onto a page today. So you'll notice here we have this new name definition called MS application-task. This is a way of defining a static jump list item for a site that's pinned. And you'll notice here that I have three of them, so I'm adding three items. For the content section, we have this delimited string that allows me to tell IE what specifically I want to display as well as where the user must go when I click on that icon. So the first element here is called name. This is the text that's displayed for the icon itself. The action URI, that is where I'm going to direct the user to when they click on that icon. And then finally the icon URI, or the icon file that is displayed for that particular item. We also have this fourth option here called window type. And what window type allows you to do is to determine how you want the browser to adjust based on those actions. So we have a three-tuple here of options called tab, window, or self, which allow us to control how those click actions will affect the browser. Let's see how this runs within IE9. So we've gone ahead and added those items, and let's go ahead and pin the site now. And you'll notice that when we right click, we see those list items light up inside the jump list. Now you'll remember that back in the markup I actually had these window types defined, and this allows me to control how these items will affect the browser. So for example, if I click on check out the player, you'll notice that we appear within its own separate window, and that's because we specified the window type to be window. Alternatively, if I go back to my main page here and I right click and I say review our programs, you'll notice that we do that change inline, and that is because we reflected that through this window type equals self attribute value pair. The default is tab, which basically says create a new tab and display that jump list item within it. So that's a very simple example of how to integrate static jump list items, and it's something that you can do today for your existing sites. It literally takes 5 minutes to integrate this within your existing sites going forward. Now, a quick and easy way to actually discover how to do this is by visiting a new site that we've just launched called buildmypinsite.com. Here you'll get a series of steps that walk you through how you can integrate the various parts and pieces of pin sites within your own site today. And as you can see, there's a lot of different things that you can do with pin sites. So you can integrate the dynamic and static jump lists. You can also have those fave icons appear. Some things that I haven't shown but are certainly possible are notifications via JavaScript API. So we have this ability to basically tell the user through a visual cue, a notification, that there's something interesting that's being displayed on the page. An example of a site that does this today is Hotmail. So if you visit hotmail.com, you pin hotmail.com to your taskbar, and as new mail hits your inbox, you'll see these notifications appear. In addition to that, you'll also be able to control how your brand colors display, as well as any integration points within the thumbnail preview itself. Again, buildmypinsite.com will walk you through the series of steps necessary for you to add the code for integrating pin sites within IE9 today, as well as give you a series of tips and tricks on what you need to do to integrate these parts and pieces. So here you can see we provide a section here for showing you what the static HTML looks like. One interesting thing to note is that we actually have a jQuery UI plugin now available called Pinify. Pinify is as I said before, an add-in that allows you to do basically everything that I've shown you except via JavaScript and utilizing jQuery, the plugin architecture of jQuery for doing its heavy lifting. So if you're more akin to JavaScript, you can certainly do that as well. So we show you examples of how that's done. You can also set up notifications. So we have a number of examples that you can see today, but that's done through a very easy API that's intuitive and easy to grok. That's found in JavaScript. You can also add thumbnail preview controls and then do a series of steps to integrate the parts and pieces of the site that you need going forward. By way of example, let's take a look at the site that I had built earlier and see how we can integrate those notifications and hover icons as part of the overall experience. So I have this pin site experience here. Let me go ahead and pin this to the taskbar. And we have our integrated jump list items here. But one other thing that we've added is this sort of mechanism for polling the server to say, hey, do I have any new friend requests? So this site integrates an element of social to it. And as those requests come in, you'll notice here that we get a visual cue showing up saying I have 3, 4, 5 friend requests. You'll also notice here at the bottom we have an icon that shows how many pending friend requests we have. These are known as notifications that you can, again, add to your site quickly and easily that allow users to see visually that new friend requests have come in. As I go through this series of steps here, I can go ahead and see how these various parts and pieces all fit together. Another thing that we have integrated here is the ability for doing thumbnail overlay icons. So as I play the various songs here on my page and I navigate from song to song, one of the things that we do is we add to the dynamic jump list information about the current artist, the title of the song, as well as integration for lyrics if we wanted to. So these and various other aspects of IE9 pin sites really provide you a very rich user experience going forward. Now you might ask yourself, why is this important? Well, what we found is that we see a higher degree of user engagement for sites that implement pin sites today. Now just to show you how this is implemented, if we scroll down here, you'll notice that we have a variety of functions implemented in JavaScript. The first one here is for obviously the onload event that gets fired for a page being loaded within the browser. And what we're doing here is we're adding an event listener for all of the click events that occur in the thumbnail overlay. So those pause, play, resume icons that you saw in the thumbnail overlay, we can simply add by using this window.external.msSiteMode add thumbnail button function. And by adding that function, we can go ahead and start adding those icons to our thumbnail preview pane. We are limited to 6 icons, but here we're using 4, so we're okay. What this takes is 2 input parameters. First, the location or URI of the ICO file, and then secondly, the text to display, or for not only for the user when hovering over, but also the text to be parsed based on that click event. So the onload event gets fired. It then sets up this. The other aspect of this is the dynamic jump list. So when we play a song, we want to update the dynamic jump list found for our site. We can go ahead and do so through these APIs also exposed through JavaScript. So here we have this API called MS Site Mode Clear Jump List, which will obviously clear the list of items from the dynamic jump list. This is important, especially if you're updating it dynamically. And then we have this ability to create a jump list dynamically through JavaScript. So MS Site Mode Create Jump List will create that new jump list, and then we can dynamically add jump list items to that jump list through the MS Site Mode Add Jump List Item APIs that you see exposed here. Finally, in order to display this to the user, we simply call MS Site Mode Show Jump List, which will go ahead and display that jump list to the user through the dynamic jump list. Another event handler we have here is one for a new friend request coming in from the server. So in this example, we're polling the server saying, do you have any new friend requests? Do you have any new friend requests? And when the response returns true, what we have the ability to do is display an overlay icon. So that's that little icon that gets displayed down here through this simple one-line API, MS Site Mode Set Icon Overlay. This takes a couple of parameters. First, an icon, now that is the ICO file that is used to display, and then finally some text that we'll choose to render to the user based on that notification being displayed. So through the integration here, I now have a very rich experience going forward, and again, I can integrate this very quickly and easily. To review, again, go to buildmypinsite.com, check out the series of steps that are listed there. Really easy to walk through and add these to your site. And as I said before, we're seeing huge levels of engagement for sites that are simply adding these capabilities. It's a trivial investment, takes anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes for a very basic experience, and then up to about a day to integrate the more advanced features like notifications and dynamic jump lists. But once you're done, you should see a huge spike in traffic because of the sheer fact that users are going back to your site over and over again. You can also go to beautyoftheweb.com. Make sure you tell others about IE9, download it yourself, and give it a try. And if you're technical, again, go to the IE Test Drive site to see examples of what's possible, not only in terms of performance, but in terms of interop around HTML5. Hope this video was informative for you. Go check out IE9 and let us know what you think. Thanks a lot.